What's good, YouTube, man? Y'all already know who it is. Your boy Frazo Reaction. I'm coming back at y'all with something like I'm coming back at y'all with another reaction video. And as y'all can already see by the title today, man, y'all already know what we reacted to. We reacted to what do black people think about white people. Now, you feel me? Now, this is a very, this is going to be a very, very interesting video and shit like that. Because, let's be real. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Feel me? Everybody, before I even get into this video, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own perspective, you know what I'm saying? Their own opinion. And they're entitled to that. Freedom of speech, the First Amendment, you know what I'm saying? Look it up, you know what I'm saying? So, before you even watch this video, if you gonna feel some type about what they gotta say, hit the door. Got to go. Go home. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, if you're new to the channel, make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, and we going strong, man. We have 439 subscribers. I'm going to hit 500 subscribers plus more, plus infinity more. You know what I'm saying, going crazy. But without further ado, you know what I'm saying, let's get straight into this video, though.
I went to a school that was predominantly black when I was growing up. And when I first saw the first white kid, I was like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? So,
What is that? Spectrum. Do black and white people think differently about race?
I act differently
I mean, we all humans.
around
So.
people who aren't my race. 3, 2, 1.
I think the most important thing is just to authentically be yourself, and I don't think being around people who don't look like you should be a reason for you to act any different.
Yeah, for me, I guess it's like within the confines of like the workforce.
I was thinking code switching.
Because if you show up to a meeting talking like this, they're like, uneducated, got it. They'll use the slang to sell the products and to tweet and to get the clicks and stuff, but like as soon as a worker's there who's authentically from the area and talking like people from the area, it's like, ooh, we don't like that. You know,
That's a fact.
Be
He's spinning.
yourself until you yourself, and then it's like, ooh, I don't like yourself. Unfortunately, in a lot of the areas of work, it's like you almost have to like lie to these people.
White
Be
boy
like,
got the
I'm a
necktie
robot.
over there.
I like, you know,
Girl forgot the necktie.
I love your company. Yeah. You know, it's sick. It's sick. But it's like, you have to get, you know.
true. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like code switching is one part, but also like there's certain parts in my own community that aren't accepted, that when I'm around different people that look like me, I can express myself differently. Like, I feel like if I talk a little proper, sometimes I get a little slack for it from...
Yeah, what did Future say? He said, I learned to speak another language, and then he was like, if that makes sense to you, type shit. When he was talking about, basically, it was like the dressing and speaking more formally and shit like that, because let's be real, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to all my carbonated gods and goddesses. You know what I'm saying? When we go out in public and I'm around white people and shit like that, I always just get this eerie feeling and shit like that. I get the looks and all that. Like, you feel me? And don't get me wrong. All white people is not bad. All white people is not racist. All white people is not this, not that. You feel me? So don't even look at it like that. But like, it just be weird vibes and shit like that. But what I tell you honestly, what it's really from is from the older people. It's from the older ones, like
my side
the ones
of the
that's
family.
like
But when I
older,
go out
like
into the
probably
world,
like in their
sometimes I like
30s,
EDC, I like
40,
tech music,
33 to like 30
See,
shit.
for me,
Maybe
I feel
like
like
some
it
in
has
the
nothing to
20s,
do with
but
race.
they
It
be on
more
some
has
other
to
shit.
do with just being professional. Like if I'm at work, then I'm obviously going to be a little more proper, you know, a little bit less slang and all of that, and just more careful with my rhetoric. But I don't think it has to do with race. The only thing I will say is like I work in political media, so I'm on camera a
Political
lot.
media.
So people already know who I am and what I'm coming with.
Okay.
But that being said, it's like when I'm around other black people, because I'm a Republican, sometimes they tend to be really standoffish with me, or think that I don't understand the culture and all this different stuff. So sometimes I have to feel it out, like, are these people who are just gonna call me an Uncle Tom, or are these people like I can actually just keep it all the way real with? So that's the only time I feel like I act different because of race.
You know, I also work in political
And type shit, so he feel like he had different
media,
because
but
of
as a
race,
leftist,
because of
I
work.
honestly feel like I've definitely benefited from being able to be in spaces where I've been able to be authentically myself, and I definitely think that's a privilege, especially where
Yeah, like I just did a video talking about be yourself and shit like
that's
that. So you definitely want to be yourself, but
you have
like
to go through. But personally,
there's
I
a
think I've
lot
been
of
able to,
people I
especially
feel
now
like
in a faith
honestly
side and
just
now my
doesn't
career,
understand or
definitely
understand
more
where
faith, I
you
feel like
come
I
from
have
and
to
shit like that.
adapt
So
my
the certain
language
shit
to
that
make
you
people,
do,
like, respect me
the
or
shit like
understand
the
what
way
I'm
you
saying.
are, they don't understand
At
that.
what point is it like, damn, we can't even really have conversations without buttoning up and being like, oh, this is how we have to talk like this, because so they'll listen, or like, regardless as
But do you
people.
think that's racial, or do you think that's
I
just...
think I don't
Honestly,
know that
I feel
don't know
like
that
it's a racial thing.
I'm right. I know where you're going.
I feel like it's a racial
I
thing
know. I think you know.
because it's like you gotta understand like. For us to be in this position that we in, you know what I'm saying? Our history was taken from us, bro.
I don't think it's
Like, every other culture you go
intrinsically rooted in
to,
race, but I think
white,
just
you know what I'm saying,
the way the social
Asian,
genetic makeup of people
Japanese,
are, I think just
fucking,
by way of
Arabs,
people of
Indians,
specific
whatever the
races
case may be,
speaking a certain
these
way
niggas
or being
always
perceived a
got,
certain way,
they got
it
their
just-
culture. They know who
it
they
tends
are,
to
this, that, and the third. We
be
don't know who we
more
are.
often than
Our
not
history
rooted
was
in
taken
race
from us,
based
my
off of,
nigga.
like,
So there's clearly
origin,
is a race
black
thing
people.
here, my nigga.
I think most people have barriers they put up when they get introduced to a new group. I went on disagree instead of strongly disagree because like there have been situations where I get introduced to a group of someone of a different race. And like, yeah, at first I'm pulled back, but once I get comfortable with them, those walls come down and then, yeah, that's where my true self comes out.
For me, it really depends because I've been shooting music videos in the hood, so I really need to basically adopt myself to become a black person. So for me, it's not a problem like meeting
Adopt
new
myself to
races.
become a black person.
I always like vibe and chill with
Type shit.
people.
Do you think adapting yourself to those different
But just because you adapt yourself to those situations doesn't mean that you have to become now following exactly everything that they do. Because that's what some people do. They try to adopt themselves into a situation, and the next thing you know, they're acting exactly how those people act. But you're not even like
I
that.
would
You
say
ain't
it's
never even
really
come from this
more for
background.
your
Just be yourself.
survival, because you know, like if you are the only white guy on set and like there's like people with like guns and stuff, and you know, you just really need to like fit in and just be chill with it.
And just be yourself. If you chill, you know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do. You ain't gonna get touched. You ain't gonna get
American culture as
like
a
niggas
whole,
ain't going.
and then especially not growing up with our subcultures. Do you feel like that's influenced the way you move when you're moving between our subcultures?
My like mentality is kind of mixed because like from the age of like 13, I really started to learn English. From that, I really learned a lot. Like I really got the American like mentality more. And basically, like
so you're not
my
even from the
mentality is
Americas?
like mixed because like in Ukraine,
Yeah, she's from Ukraine.
if we see a black person, we call them the N-word. And from our side, it's not offensive. Like we say it not from.
So, you know what I'm saying? I go to Ukraine. I'm just walking. Niggas just gonna say, nigga! Like, alright, like I need to hear how this is not offensive type shit.
But some
I
people
know,
can because,
like we
you know,
use it
like,
because
you
like
don't
we
see
use it
a
against
black
each other
person.
and shit
I can
like that.
understand that
And there's a
because I
deeper
went
meaning
to
behind it.
school
That's the reason why we
with
keep
black
using
women
that and shit
growing
like
up.
that as
And when I first
colored
saw the
folks,
first white kid, I was like, what
as
is
the
that?
Hebrew
You know what I'm
Israelites.
saying? So, like, it was a white girl with like red hair, and I was like, whoa, I've never seen this before. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I understand that, like, when a white
But I
person
understand
to a
that, though.
predominantly black group, then you're going to try your best to adapt.
to adapt
that
and try to
subculture.
fit in
To be
and-
like, okay, hey, I get along with you. This is my way of like telling you, like, hey, this is I'm like extending an.
But sometimes I just feel like they be doing too much, bro. On some real, bro.
Triggered.
I
don't like the
I've been in
notion that you're
situations and shit
becoming
like
a
that.
Black person by pretending to be hood or
No,
adopting a hood
just like
mentality
this
because
thing.
not all black people are hood, not all black people are
course.
ghetto.
In real
I
life.
understand what you're trying to say, and I don't know if it's a language barrier, so I don't want to like come at you like you're saying something racist.
Mm-hmm.
But I just really am anti-black people being defined as ghetto and hood because there's a lot of classy black people out
In
there.
real life.
There's a lot of intelligent Afro-Americans out there.
But we not even Afro-Americans, because Scipio Africanus, you know what I'm saying, and that's who they named America after. No, Scipio Africanus was who they named Africa after, bro. Look it up. He was a Roman general in like 493 BC or whatever, you know what I'm saying, fighting in the wars or whatever the case may be. That was a white guy. And then Americo Vespucci, they named America after. And if you go look that up too, he was another white guy. So we not American. We not African American. We not that. That's what I'm saying. We the actual Native Americans, the actual Aboriginals. You know what I'm saying? The Aboriginals. You feel me? The motherfucking the Israelites.
It really like depends
Real life.
on like where you grew up in.
Also, if you are hood and ghetto like me, you can also be all those things too.
White people also experience race-based prejudice.
Since you guys probably don't know, I have lived overseas. I've lived
She
in
has lived
Asian
overseas.
countries. In Japan, there are certain restaurants and stuff like that that you could walk into. You can see people dining in the restaurant, and they're gonna tell you they're closed just because you're white or you're American. So the idea that white people can't really experience racism kind of contradicts the very definition of the word, because the definition of racism is prejudice based on one's skin color. White people do experience it.
She spent. I can't hold on.
Degree.
While I do think that
Before God speak, yo, I ain't even gonna lie. Now you know, let
our
him
white
speak.
brothers and sisters in Christ can experience racial-based prejudice, I don't want to overlook the nuance of that prejudice, because it's not necessarily rooted in anything systematic or anything that's going to actually have long-term effects, knock on wood, that are going to like debilitate a race or inhibit their chances or possibility of succeeding or being.
I mean, they already did that
better
they
than
damn
him.
self, bro. Like,
DOC?
you gotta
I
feel
definitely
me.
think it's a non-issue, racism towards white people, especially specifically, I want to, like, in America. I don't think it's something that needs to be highlighted as an issue that
because,
is a constant threat to.
Bro, we don't really even, bro, we don't even be worried about y'all niggas. Really just put that in perspective, bro. We don't even be worried about y'all
day-to-day
for real.
well-being, progress, and success in life in general, because it's not something that's going to inhibit you, and you don't have to walk out your door and think, I'm about to be attacked, like people of color do every single day.
Literally.
I do agree that white people haven't been put through centuries of hell like black people were, but prejudice towards white people 100% exists. Like whether it's in TV, if it's in movies, like if you watch predominantly black media, there's a lot of roasting towards white people that if it was the other way around, that would never be acceptable today. Then you go on social media like TikTok and you look up white people are bad. You will see videos where they're attacking white people for things that their ancestors did 200 years ago.
All right. I feel you what the ancestors did 200 years ago, you know what I'm saying, in the past or whatever the case may be, but you have to look in the past to see what's going on now in the future. That's the only way you're going to be able to line up and be able to check shit fact for fact of what's going on now in the future and shit like that. And like I said, all white people ain't racist. All white people ain't bad and shit like that.
Of color, and that those negatively affect white people. Like if you look at affirmative action, diversity quotas in the workplace, all these different things, they lower the bar for black people, but then increase the bar for white people. However, I think where some of the issue comes is because a lot of marginalized groups and people of color back in the day went through so much worse that it's easy for us to discredit the prejudice that white people now deal with today.
I think like
man, bro, nigga, when we was trying to be great on Black Wall Street, when we had our own street, nigga, they came and burnt us down. They burnt our whole shit down. Look that shit up, bro. Our ancestors, my nigga, they used to, feel me, come into our neighborhoods, bro, and run us out of our neighborhoods, burn that shit. And that's where you see all your man-made lakes right now, man. Look this shit up. I don't want to hear none of that bullshit. You a god, nigga. Know your history.
An individualistic level, like yeah, white people get hate all the time.
He got an angel on his neck.
If you zoom out, and you look
what?
at the
An
big
angel
picture,
on
it's
somebody?
a little bit different. And like talking about like YouTube having racist content for anyone out there.
Every social media got racist content.
Like I would have to go and seek that out versus.
Or there's white on white and black on black crime and white on black crime and black on white crime.
Yeah, I would have to like look for a video being like, oh, people who hate white people.
I agree.
Like versus like Twitter, I don't have to scroll very long before I see some person making some out-of-pocket comment about.
And regulation being lifted so people can see that even more so.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some apps have different regulations and shit like that. That's the reason why
Statistically,
TikTok.
and on paper, white people, white women were benefiting more from affirmative action in colleges than any other demographic. So I also don't think that's fair to say, but I definitely get what you mean. And again, I think the prejudice is still there though.
And I will say that black people do deal with prejudice. I think every demographic deals with prejudice. There are racist.
Nah, bro. I feel like every demographic deals with prejudice to a certain degree, but we have to fear for our life every single day when we walk outside. You know what I'm saying?
I just
Anywhere
don't
we
think
go,
systemic
bro.
racism is an issue
If we get
anymore
pulled over
in
and shit
today's
like that,
society, but
like
I
any
do
other
think that
race
there
gets
are
pulled over and
racist
shit, they
people
gonna
out
be
there.
straight.
I
But
think
us,
that there's a really important
bro, we have to,
distinction
nigga, we gotta
Our
count
language
our
comes
blessings,
from
nigga. We
a
might
systemic
not make it to
definition
see
of
home.
Our societal definition has changed to include a systemic part of it. And I completely disagree with this idea that people of color don't have systemic things against them still. Because the fact that we still have the KKK,
Literally.
the fact that we still have these things, and they are in positions of
Power.
as long as that exists, and as long as that's a part of our country's like makeup right now, which it is, and that's our power structure, I don't feel like you can honestly.
And then you feel me, the police officers and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? They really tyrants. They not motherfucking police officers, nigga. They don't have the motherfucking right to enforce any laws on the motherfucking land because they entities, my nigga.
deny systemic racism against the black community, which is why prejudice is so different from racism. I don't think white people can experience racism in this country, but we can experience prejudice
You can experience
based on the
prejudice.
societal definitions we now use.
Being sexually unattracted to a race is racist.
No.
I think where the line gets drawn is when if a white
Bruh.
girl is sitting there swiping and he's just like, I don't like black girls, they're all ugly. They have
Okay.
too big of lips. I think that's where the line gets drawn.
That's where, yeah, definitely. That's where the line
But
gets drawn.
You can't really help what you're attracted to. Like my fiance
That's a
is
fact.
Mexican, and it's like I like him for who he is, not how he looks.
I think that we
All right, so I say that, like, what she said is high. Like, for me, you could like a person for who they are, but now how they look and shit like that. But I feel like, as you know what I'm saying, that it comes to, like, what you've been through. Like, who's gonna be more understanding? Who's, like, for me, like, I've been through a lot. The only person that's really gonna understand me for real is the carbon God. You know what I'm saying? The woman. She really gonna understand where I'm coming from and shit like that because we've been through the same shit. You know what I'm saying? We've been going through the same shit for years in, years out in America. You feel me? So it's like when you go try to date a white girl, bro, she not like, you know what I'm saying, nigga, you going through problems and shit like that with your family and shit. I'm speaking from a God experience type shit. Nigga, she not gonna understand, nigga. You gonna talk to her about your past, nigga. Your past gonna be two totally different things. You over here talking about how you had to run from the police, you was in the streets, and she's over here talking about how she was in school reading books, nigga. We are not the same. And I'm not saying that you can't connect with somebody like that type shit, but it's just like, bro, I feel like to me, I gotta find somebody that connects with me on a deeper level, yo. You feel me? Like, that's just real.
we are conditioned to be attracted and to respond to people that we grow up and around with. So homogeneously, we grow up with people who look like us. So when you move into dating and things like that, statistically, you're going to be attracted to people that you grew up seeing, right? However, when you are discrediting a certain race for whatever reason based off their ethnicity. Meaning everybody.
Ethnicity is not a real thing, though. So let's, you know what I'm saying? Because we're not. I already explained to y'all how we not American. We not motherfucking African American.
Cute. I don't control your body or your thoughts, but on one hand, I'm like, let's maybe unpack that. Also, where's my camera? To all the girls that's putting this in their bios, that's none of our business. Stop doing that. Keep that to yourself. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear it.
For me, I think that like we're talking about conditioning and how we grew up, right? If you go to like South Africa, for instance, which within some of our lifetimes had apartheid. If you grow up in that, especially as a black person, where you're constantly being mistreated by every single white person, and you're conditioned to be like, white person, no thank you. I don't think that's racist.
I agree, and I obviously.
That's not racist, nigga. No, nigga, I said no, thank you.
Yeah.
You should be lucky I ain't even really using some profanity for real, because that's what curse words is. They not curse words, they're profanity.
And I'm dating a white guy. So I totally get what you mean. I don't want to discredit black people or anyone who's had those kind of situations, because it's not that they're not dating white people. It's definitely, it's more like they're cautious.
I think you used the perfect word earlier. Is it conditioned or?
I was thinking about it on terms of me being a black woman. I feel like it's a lot different when it is a black woman going into dating someone
that is not their race.
I can tell you from my experience with dating Hispanic men, white, whatever, they've only seen Jerry Springer and Maury. So it's like they have a whole different idea of what a black woman is. Like before my husband changed a lot, one of the comments made to me was he was afraid of me going to his house with braids in my hair, because then they would assume that I was
Ghetto,
a different kind of girl instead of looking at me for who I am.
I have
Exactly,
been denied
bro.
access because of my race.
Agree.
I can.
He don't even know where. God don't even know where to go type shit, because it's like he trying to play double advocate. He trying to play both sides, nigga. Just keep it real, cuz.
Where I can sit down anywhere and I am not going to be denied because of how I look. And I would be ignorant to not admit that.
And
Yeah,
I'm gonna
you would be
counter
ignorant as
that
fuck.
with we are justifiably not let into spaces, and our whiteness takes away access to things like powwows. And there's an island in Hawaii that's only for natives, or for like safe spaces for Black communities or whatever.
But then you gotta understand. The reason why all of that's happening is because look at the other people. Yeah, it's not you and shit like that. But look at people your skin color. Look what they're doing, and look how they're running the country. Look what they're doing to our people. Look what they're doing to people in other countries, my nigga. Bro, we giving away money to motherfucking niggas over here, and you know what I'm saying, the Ukraine and Gaza and all that shit, bro. But really think about it on some real nigga shit. Bro, we don't. What's going on in America that's so great? We're still in poverty. A lot of people are still in poverty. You still got a lot of homeless people and shit like that. There's a lot of fucking hold on, what can I say? Bruh. It's just so much, my nigga. Niggas still paying taxes, bruh. You feel me? Inflations, my nigga. Like, you feel me? They're over here passing laws to where you can't be homeless. You gotta be working. They trying to get you as working 24/7 on some slavery type shit. Like, yo.
Whatever else, we are
Come on.
justifiably denied access because of our skin.
Period. We love the new lines.
The thing about Hawaii, though,
Yeah, we love the new
Hawaii is
lines.
stolen land. I believe that they have every right to
Indeed.
be able to say only we're allowed to go here.
Indeed.
That-
They stole the land, and then, cause they was mad because niggas didn't want to sell their houses over there on the beach and shit like that, my nigga. They used a fucking laser from the sky, technology, my nigga, and burnt that whole shit. Like, come on,
that was
fuck out of here.
theirs. It was literally stolen land that was stolen by white people.
Yes.
Indeed.
No, but that's why it's
Yeah.
justifiably, it's still denied access.
Yeah.
But it is justifiable, 100%. Don't
Yeah,
let me
it's
in.
denied access, but it's justifiable. But it's like in my own day-to-day life, I could go anywhere. I can sit down anywhere. I can go read a book in a library. I can go to Starbucks. People don't fear me because of how I look, and so they don't feel.
Literally, they don't fear you, nigga. They look at you and be like, oh, this a little marshmallow. I'm just being real. They be like, oh, look at the little marshmallow. They ain't go do shit.
Can't be.
They see me, my
In
nigga.
your
They
day-to-day
know.
life, are you
They like,
using
yo.
access? Like, are you trying to go to that island?
Then I think that's a really good question.
He might.
Has it
He might
happened?
have a gun on him. He's
I
this, that, and the third.
Are you seeking
yeah.
Fuck
those
outta here.
spaces then?
Like,
Not
are you
necessarily
seeking out
seeking
spaces?
them,
Like, are
but
you
I am
trying to go to
already
Hawaii?
aware that this is like, hey, this is for us, not for you. I'm not gonna show up and be like, yeah, but like, I'm a cool white person. But there are spaces that we are not allowed, and I think that's okay.
Bro,
No, it
there's
is okay,
spaces
but
where
you're
we're not
actively seeking to be
allowed.
part of those circles. You're not being denied access to them.
I will agree.
Literally.
Sure, and I like, and I
Sure.
can see how maybe those are not the best.
She get a little
examples, but,
uncomfortable.
Like, I think especially because my social circles are predominantly people of color. there
Social circles are
definitely things where
predominantly
they're,
people of
like,
color.
Where I've had them be like, "This is not a conversation for you," and I'm like, "Okay." I have had those experiences. I'm okay with them. I want to be clear. Like, I think there should be spaces that aren't for me, and that is okay. But they've existed and they've been in my life.
I have just one really.
I just think, like, what do you think, bruh? If you think there's places where you can't go, there's places where we can't go. There's still sundown towns. If you don't know what sundown towns is, that's where the KKK and shit like that, where black people can't even be out past a certain time. Are you serious, my nigga? There's places we can't go. There's shit we can't do. Like, come on now.
Specific example. Otherwise, I feel like in general, I'm not denied access because of my race, just in my experience. But I had an ex whose stepfather was wildly racist, like Nazi memorabilia, like just insane individual. And I was never allowed over her house because of him. And the one time that I kind of snuck in. He was staring at me through the window, and I'll never
Through the
forget that
window?
in my life. The way that man was staring at me through the window, and then cursed out his kids for having me in the house. That man's now in prison for doing
Who knows
God
what.
knows what, but it's where he belongs.
I was looking for funding for my
film?
film, and most of them are for colored people, and I totally understand that. And there is like not many that I found that are for like everybody. My mind would be like, damn, I cannot do it. Like I cannot apply to it. But
Got
from
the
the other
guys
side,
all over
I
there on the other
understand
side.
that the black community, like you guys need to get your movies out there.
If anything,
And bro, every time we post our movie, bro, they steal everything from us, bro. They want to be us, bro. I'm just keeping it real, like, feel me?
I feel like
We got movies out there and shit like that. It's just that every time we try to go buy a big corporation so we could really state our voice and shit like that, like a radio station or like a motherfucking a website where we could post our own movies and shit. Well, like Tubi right now, that's what they're doing. They're using Tubi right now. You feel me? For like, they're putting all the black movies on Tubi and shit like that, but Tubi's not owned by a black person. So they're just using us, running up this bread on Tubi and shit like that. Feel me? They get that bread, then they gonna put that bread to whatever else they want to do.
It's real. I've never
That's
really
it.
been.
Now, I'll say that too. I've been
Yeah.
tokenized so many times.
I'm like, I don't want
we
that.
have to have you
Tokenized.
here. We need young black representation. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, I'm
Yeah.
gonna stay home.
I'm saying, like, we need
I am proud of my race.
shit. Agree. Oh, she was about to go to
1.
disagree.
Do
Hey,
not
man.
go to fabletters.com. Do
It's
not
all good,
take
man.
our historically low offer. 2 for 24 shorts, 1 for 24.
It's all good.
I will go first, and I will.
No, ain't no way.
will stand
I
10 toes
agree.
in.
I was just being ironic to
I
stand over
think-
there.
She said this shit.
Please no.
I also
I cried a little bit.
I was
I
being
think that,
messy.
like, and I'll just keep it
Yeah,
specific
get your ass on
to
that,
my
I
experience
agree.
and what I know. As Black Americans, we're pretty much the top culture that gets replicated, referenced. People scoot in
Yep.
and scoot out because they want to seem cool and interesting and stuff. And I think that that's so kind of us to like kind of like be beaten down for so long and be kind of separated from our African roots, create names for ourselves, culture, language around our identities as Black Americans, and have that be a thing that's just reverberating across the globe. I think that's so cute. Can never be replicated, can never be understated, and I love that about it.
That was kind of
Word
the
too.
start of my like thought process too, like just the basis of being torn down so adamantly, so regularly for hundreds of years in law even, like it is insane that we are here today to even
Literally,
be on camera,
bro. Like,
to even
literally,
be
all the
faced
amendments
with
don't
other
even
white
apply
people.
to us on some
it
real
is
shit. They apply
a
to
beautiful thing that
niggas
we have
with
been
lighter
able
skin than
to
me.
flourish in such
Way lighter
dirt,
skin, but they
like,
don't apply to
literal
us.
filth and grime that our ancestors had to go through, and even our grandparents had to go through.
Even
Like,
I had to
in
go
my
through.
8th grade yearbook I saw recently said like the South will rise again, like. And this was 2015. So like this is such a day-to-day thing, and I am proud.
And she just said the South will rise again. You know what I'm saying? If y'all know what she was referring to, like the slavery and all that shit was all in the South and shit. And then up north, for me, everything was all good, supposedly, and everything, whatever the case may be. But as you can see right now, bro, a lot of shit is taking place, bro. Texas is trying to become their own state. You know what I'm saying? Biden not fucking with that. Biden trying to get them cowboys out of there and shit like that. Then they're being fucking, what's it called, invaded. You know what I'm saying? Immigrants is coming in the border 24/7, all day, every day. Like, this shit is just
Proud to
wild,
be
bro.
Black, and it's hard to say that. Like it was hard to say that as a kid. Like
In real life.
I could be called inward. I could be
Like, as a kid, bro,
I feel so blessed to even.
I
be able to
agree with
say
her,
that.
bro. Because as a kid, bro,
Everybody needs to
had
be
me wanting to think I
proud of
wanted to
their
be
race
light skinned and shit like
stop
that.
This, like,
Never
racist
again,
bullshit,
nigga. I love my skin.
because, like, you could be green, red, black, white, Hispanic, like, it doesn't matter.
I agree with like what you're saying, because my own personal belief is that at the basis of who we are is that we're all just people. We're not a skin tone. But because of those before me, I now have to fight back against the idea that all white people are racist.
Oh, no.
I remember being in 4th grade and learning about the Holocaust for the first time and saying, I don't want to be German anymore. Meanwhile, my mother's whole family is German. American history, you look at things like slavery, you look at things like
Jim Crow laws,
Jim Crow laws,
segregation.
segregation. There is so much awful stuff that has happened and is still happening in closeted ways that I cannot be proud of the way that I look.
Yeah, for me, like, I am
Real life.
proud of
I respect
who
her for
am,
that.
like who I grew up to be. Like I like who I am.
Yeah.
But like if I were to say I'm a proud white man, like I don't even know what that means. Like there have been zero
real.
racial hurdles in my
It's
life.
real.
Now, like I'm a proud gay man because like I've had to go through shit to get to where I am now, and you know even to that point, so much of queer culture comes from black culture. So
Everything
Thank you.
come from us. It starts from us.
yeah.
The
I'm
queen.
proud of the things I've done, the people who I've touched, whose hearts I've opened up. I feel like it's beyond our race. I feel like what it is our experiences that make our light shine through. So that's what I'm proud of, actually. Yeah.
I think that there's a really big difference between being proud to be black and being proud to be white. So being proud of your culture, beautiful thing. Like be proud to be Ukrainian. I'm proud to be Slavic. The black community is different, and the reason it's different is because their culture, specifically black Americans, their culture was stripped away from them when they were brought over here. So
Bro, and that's another thing. We wasn't brought over here, my nigga. We were already here. Bro, like that. They can't even find a slavery boat. Like they don't have no pictures or no like actual shit. You go to a museum, you can't find an actual slavery boat, my nigga. They only have pictures of it. What does that tell you, my nigga? That shit never happened, bro. Stop jacking that, bro. We never came here on no motherfucking boat. A little bit of us, nigga, but not even like, bro. Probably like less than 100,000 people, my nigga. We was already here. We was already here. Look it up, my nigga. We was fighting all the great Seminole Wars and all that. For me, the Gullah Geechee Wars and shit like that, nigga. We was already here. And then they killed a lot of my ancestors off, bro. You feel me? And reclassify our name and shit like that. So come on, do your research, shorty.
being black American, you're like the race became cultural.
I mixed that up.
So
Sorry
it's,
about
no,
that.
yeah. But like,
Yeah.
so I think that there's a really big difference between like I am proud of my people are Slavic versus I am proud of my race. It just gets convoluted because black Americans, the race has become the culture because the culture was stripped away.
I also think oftentimes when you talk about white pride versus black pride, oftentimes black pride is rooted in like love and like perseverance of like
Literally.
culture, customs, language, and things like that. And white pride is often rooted in like
Black hate.
black hate,
Facts.
Latin hate, Asian
Facts.
hate. So I think that's like an interesting nuance to not overlook.
No,
No,
and
I
it's-
said no,
I
I
think
relate.
that's such an important point. I think there's a difference between like I'm proud and therefore I'm better versus I am proud of what we have overcome.
Yeah, and then the whole idea of white pride started with people who think the Confederate flag is personality trait.
Like these niggas still got the
how can I
Confederate
prove that?
flag up and shit like that. Come on.
I'm
man.
not saying that this applies to any of you, but I meet a lot of white people, particularly white liberals, who will actively say that they're ashamed of being white. And that is wild to me because how can you look at your past and because, yes, your race did terrible things in the past, but you shouldn't define
the past
yourself as that.
defines
If
you.
anything, you should look at that and reflect.
So do you think white people should be proud to be specifically white?
See, I think that's a really
That's a question for
nuanced question when you're
yourself.
white because I think you guys had the valid point of ethnicity is different because like white isn't a collective culture in the way that black is because black people have been grouped together and have a similar experience. But like white, like Italian American, you should definitely be proud of being Italian American. You should be proud of being Slavic American. You should be proud of
your lineage.
But just to say, oh, I'm proud to be white, like yeah, that has a weird connotation to it because it's not a collective culture. But what I really want to emphasize is that you should not be ashamed of being white in the way that a lot of people are.
Yeah.
That's real. You shouldn't be ashamed of being yourself, regardless.
Okay.
Like, yeah, your ancestors, yeah, people did some shit, but like, this is you. Nah, like, what y'all think, man? Like, what was y'all opinion? What was y'all thoughts while watching this video with me? Like, what do y'all think? Was I like? And honestly, give me, you know what I'm saying? You could say whatever you want. Give me your thoughts on what you think, you know what I'm saying, on the shit that I said type shit. What's your thoughts and opinions on that? Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody is subjected to their own feelings. Like, bruh, you perceive things differently from the way I perceive things and shit like that. So you're going to have your own opinion on it. So I can't hate you for having your own opinion and shit like that. We just can't see eye to eye. And sometimes you're not supposed to be able to see eye to eye with people. And that's the beauty of the relationship. It's because, like, y'all could come from two different standpoints and bring that shit together. When a person has enough knowledge and is not being so rejecting towards what's going on. Feel me? But if you're new to the channel, make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe. We on the road to 500 subscribers and we going strong. And without further ado, I'm gonna see you on the next one on gang.